Visionaries, what's going on? Jason Osborne back again with another video. And today, well, we're talking a little bit about that money, man. All right, when you start shooting with your camera, the first thing, second thing, third thing, or maybe even the last thing that comes across your mind is how can I use this new hobby, this new skill of mine that I picked up to put a little money in my pocket? Well, you might not know the best gigs that pay the most. So I'm gonna give you my top 3 gigs that will pay you the most. And guess what? Weddings are not included. Coming up. So yeah, that's right. We're gonna be talking about some gigs, some opportunities that can put some money in your pocket and some good money in your pocket. I'm not talking about 50, 25, dollars, $100, I'm talking about a couple $100, maybe even a couple $1,000 if you play your cards right. Now I know when it comes to big money in photography, everyone thinks weddings, but not everybody wants to shoot weddings. Not everybody is equipped to handle the pressure of that wedding day. And they might want to do something a little bit more low key. They might not want to sacrifice their whole entire weekend to shoot a wedding and then have to go through the stresses of the day and then have to edit all those pictures, etc., etc. So I thought it'd be beneficial to go ahead and talk about some of the other paying gigs that pay pretty well that have nothing to do with wedding photography. So the first on the list is corporate headshots and events. Corporate headshots is a great way to make some good money. The reason for this is because you're not just being hired by an individual, you're being hired by an entire company, and that means they're going to have a bigger budget. The time spent doing corporate headshots is also a benefit compared to the amount of money that you're going to be making. Typically, when I do corporate headshots, I'm only there for maybe 2, maybe even 3 hours, if that. The reason for the quickness of the gig is because most companies are going to want their headshots to all look the same, look very uniform. So once you have your backdrop, your lights set up, the most time you're probably going to spend is on that first employee, getting everything dialed in. Once they're done, it's going to be step and repeat for the rest of the employees that you're going to be shooting that day. So you shoot the first employee, they move on, the next one steps in their place, and so on and so forth. Corporate events can entail a little bit more work than corporate headshots, I won't lie to you, but it's a lot less pressure than shooting a wedding. Typically, you're going to be hired for maybe a corporate retreat or a gala or anything that, is going to be used for their marketing or website or company material. Corporate events are good because once again, you could typically add or tax that charge per hour rate than you would usually do for another standard event like a birthday party or something else. There have been tons of times when I've shot a corporate event and handed out tons of business cards to people asking me for them, and I've actually gotten a couple clients through that just because I showed up to shoot their work function. So corporate events can definitely lead to extra business. So how can you get involved in shooting corporate work, corporate events, corporate headshots, etc., etc.? Well, my first advice would be to reach out to any friends, family that hold corporate positions or corporate jobs. These people can tie you in with their HR department or someone that's in charge of booking these kinds of things. And if your work is good enough, they might actually give you a shot. You always want to start with the people that's close to you, reach out to them, see if they need any new headshots for their department or their company as a whole, and then see what kind of package you can offer them. Don't be afraid to charge a little bit more than you typically would, especially if you have the skills to do it, but you might want to, make sure that you actually do have the skills to take some professional headshots, study up on that, because you're typically only going to get one shot to get it right. A lot of these companies are very busy, and carving out time to have employees come in and get their photos taken can be difficult at times. So if you mess up that shoot, chances are they probably won't hire you again. So make sure you know what you're doing, and if you do know what you're doing, you shouldn't have any problem nailing the shoot, getting paid some good money, and being able to be referred to other companies or being brought back when new shots are needed. Another way to get corporate gigs is to search a lot of job sites like Thumbtack, Craigslist, Angie's List, things like that. Anything that has a lot of vendors on there already. A lot of these corporations, they don't have a lot of time to, find a super photographer to do their corporate headshots or to work their event. And they go to these sites a lot. I've been hired by a lot of companies through Thumbtack personally, and it's a good resource. I know Thumbtack is a little 50-50 on if it's actually a good site, and I know a lot of people complain about sometimes of the fees that are associated with Thumbtack, but you can definitely find a good amount of work on there, especially in the corporate world. My last piece of advice to get involved with corporate work is to host corporate only specials. every year I typically will run a corporate headshot special. So if you're a business professional and you need your LinkedIn or your business profile or maybe your company profile picture updated, I'm the guy that you can call, and I might give you a discount because I know it's going to lead to extra business. When you have these kinds of specials, they only happen maybe once or twice a year, and you don't have to discount heavily. You might just want to come under what the standard normal rate is for a corporate headshot or event work. But these kind of specials can open the door a lot faster to you, and it can allow you to get some business when you're not expecting it. So go ahead and go that route if you feel like the other options aren't going to work for you. Okay, so on to the second type of gig that will put a good amount of money in your pocket, and that would be family sessions. All right, I shoot a lot of family sessions and they always typically pay well. When I say family sessions, I'm not just talking about entire family portraits. I'm talking about senior portraits. I'm talking about, yes, regular family portraits. I'm talking about shots of the kids or the pets or, a maternity shoot. All of the above is under that family umbrella. Now, initially, you might not think there's a lot of money in family sessions, but on the back end, there's a lot of money. And what I mean by back end payments is typically how I structure my shoots is a client will pay me an upfront fee, and then afterwards, they'll get a certain amount of shooting time and edits involved with that. After those edits are delivered, if they want additional pictures, you're going to have to pay an additional fee. Family sessions typically always want additional pictures, especially if you do a good job. The best way to make money on the back end is just to have an individual price per picture. It can help you bring in an additional couple $100 on top of what you already made from the initial session, just because grandma is going to want a couple extra pictures of her grandchildren, or mom is going to want a couple extra pictures of the family to put over the fireplace or in the kitchen or to post on social media. So just keep that in mind. You might want to charge a little less in the front to make it up on the back end, but family sessions overall, depending if it's senior sessions, family portraits, etc., they do pay well if you structure your pricing right. So how can you get involved with family sessions if you haven't yet? Well, everybody typically has a family, so start with your own family. Bring them out to a park on a very nice day and give it your best shot. And you want to shoot it like you would shoot a real client, because these pictures are going to be used for your portfolio to bring more families in. And you have to believe that just because they're family, if the pictures are great, they're still going to share on social media. And then when people ask who took the photos, boom, they're going to be referring their own family member, which is going to be you. So start with your own family if you're lacking those family session photos. Even if you have a small family, good pictures go a long way. To find clients, you're going to want to hit the sites that a lot of families go to. Now, Thumbtack is good, but you also can look on Facebook and Instagram. A lot of people don't realize this, but on Facebook, the search bar is a real search bar. It's not only just to find people who are on Facebook or to reconnect with your long lost friend. You can enter terms into Facebook, and every post mentioning that term will show up. So if you type in the search bar, photography needed for family shoot or photography needed for X, Y, and Z, all the posts showing someone asking or posting that they need a photographer will pop up onto your feed. Then you can filter that to what time duration or the most recent post and see if you can go ahead and catch a new post and be the first one in line to offer your services. This is a great way to get involved with family sessions. It's something that I used personally when I first started with photography and shooting families. And if you're good enough at it and if you're quick enough, you can be the first in line to offer your services and probably get hired if your work is good enough. And the last gig that pays very well is commercial work. When you're shooting for an actual business or a brand, commercial work can pay big money. Similar to corporate work, business work requires the same amount of professionalism, the same amount of quality, but you're going to be getting paid a lot of money because, once again, they have a bigger budget, and these pictures are typically going to be of the products that they're promoting or selling. Maybe it's a brand shoot for a new clothing company, or it's a food for a new restaurant that's about to pop up, or maybe it's pictures of employees for a startup. Either way, commercial shoots are very, very expensive because they typically require a lot of material to be provided by the client that they want to be shown in the pictures. For example, I was hired to do a commercial shoot for a high-end luxury retail center, and the people organizing the shoot, they rented Ferraris, they had access to the high-end stores, all the businesses in the retail center pitched in and were able to get products. So when we went in and we got these shots done, there is something to actually represent the actual business. So when clients look at the website or look at the brochure showing off the retail center, they can see exactly what's offered, and it'll show the kind of shopping experience that they might have. Typically, commercial work are big productions, lots of wheels, lots of hands in the cookie jar, lots of people involved. And you kind of need to know what you're doing. I wouldn't recommend commercial shoots for the first time beginner photographer. You definitely want to have a little bit of shoots and be seasoned. Commercial shoots can be expensive for not only the client, but it can be expensive for you and your time. If things aren't done properly, organized, you could be shooting all day with little to nothing to show for it. Another reason why commercial work pays out well is due to licensing. Typically, when you shoot for a business or you do commercial work, you're going to license those images so that they can use them for their business and use those images to make money. You can do that per lump sum of photos, or you can do that on the individual picture. Now, I'm not going to get too deep into licensing, and if you want me to talk more about licensing your photos, please leave it in the comment section below, and I'll do that. And also, while we're here, you might as well comment and like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet already. But back to what I was saying is, if licensing can offer a back-end payment to these images, and basically what you're doing is you are selling or leasing the copyright to these photos so that they can use them for business purposes. It's basically saying, yes, I'm the photographer, I own these photos, and you can use these for your business and make money using these images. Regardless if you're paid or not, if you take the photo, you own the copyright. Don't forget that. So you have to make sure that you license those photos to big corporations and businesses. So there you go. Very simple, non-wedding photography gigs that can pay very well. We've got our corporate headshots and events, we've got our family sessions, and we've got our commercial work. Those three types of gigs can bring in serious money with your camera. If you have any questions about what I talked about today in regards to corporate headshots or events or family shoots or commercial work, feel free to leave it in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. This is Jason Osborne, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.